Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where the drama is real, the transformations are wild, and Sissy Princess always finds herself in the craziest situations. Today's story, oh my gosh, you guys are not ready. This one. Total chaos, total embarrassment, and yes, a whole lot of pink ribbons. It all started last Friday during practice. I was running drills like usual, trying to keep my cool, when coach called us over with that serious look on his face. You know the one. The look that makes you immediately question every single life choice you've ever made. Yeah, that one. He cleared his throat and said, "All right team, we have a little twist this season. One of you will have to cheerlead." Cue the awkward silence. You could hear crickets if you squinted. The guys around me started whispering, throwing nervous glances. And of course, I froze. I mean, cheerleading? Me. I'm a guy. Well, I was a guy until last week when my little experiment started. But that's a story for another day. Coach smiled that evil little grin and said, "I'll let fate decide." And then he pulled out a slip of paper from his clipboard. He asked each of us to step forward, grab a number, and, yep, you guessed it. I drew number 3. Number 3 apparently belonged to the chosen one. My heart dropped. I tried to laugh it off, like, haha, must be someone else, right? But everyone was looking at me. And then, the gasp. Oh, the gasp. Everyone turned to me, and I swear my face turned 50 shades of pink. Wait. Sissy. That's you. Someone finally blurted out. I wanted to crawl under the bleachers and disappear. I mean, imagine being a teenage guy, or, well, not exactly a guy anymore, suddenly thrust into the world of pom-poms and sparkling skirts. My mind went blank. My body was frozen. My dignity, gone. Coach clapped his hands. Don't worry. You're perfect for the role. Trust me. Perfect for the role. Did he even see me? I had sneakers, gym shorts, and, okay, maybe a tiny bit of mascara left over from last weekend's little makeover session. But perfect? Definitely not. Not even close. The next part of the week was a whirlwind. I had to go to the cheerleading store, yes, the full, glittering, nightmare-inducing store, and pick out a uniform. I thought I could just grab something practical, like a plain top and skirt combo. No. I ended up with a tiny, sparkly outfit in bright pink and white, complete with a short pleated skirt that could practically double as a napkin. And pom-poms. So many pom-poms. I don't even know how people hold these things without dropping them. Trying on the uniform was, let's just say it was an experience. My reflection stared back at me, and I couldn't stop laughing and crying at the same time. How had life brought me here? A week ago, I was just minding my own business. Now, I was Sissy Princess, the team's accidental cheerleader. And the worst part. The first practice with the uniform on was tomorrow. I spent the night practicing. I watched videos online, tried to perfect flips and jumps I had never done before, and attempted the high-pitched cheers. My voice cracked, my balance was terrible, and I tripped over the pom-poms more times than I can count. But you know what? Somehow, amidst all the embarrassment, I started to feel kind of excited. Like maybe this could be fun. Maybe. The next morning, I walked into the gym wearing the uniform. The team was already there, doing push-ups and stretches. And the moment I stepped in, silence. Then laughter. Loud, uncontrollable laughter. My face burned hotter than the sun. One guy muttered, "She's actually doing it." I didn't even respond. I just gripped the pom-poms and tried not to wobble like a newborn deer. Coach gave me a thumbs up and said, "All right, Sissy, show us your spirit." That was it. Game on. I took a deep breath, raised the pom-poms, and started the cheer. My arms were shaking, my voice was squeaky, and I may have accidentally tripped over my own skirt mid-spin. But somehow, the team started clapping. Slowly. Hesitantly. And by the end, I think a couple of them even cheered. I couldn't believe it. I was the team's cheerleader. Me. Sissy Princess. And somehow, someway, I had survived the first 5 minutes without falling flat on my face. But little did I know, this was just the beginning. The real chaos, the real embarrassment, and the full-on teasing was about to start. And it was going to get way, way worse. The next few days were, let's just say, unforgettable. Every practice became a new level of torture. Adventure. I had to learn all the routines, memorize chants, and somehow make it look cute while doing jumps that felt like my legs were going to fall off. And of course, the team couldn't resist teasing me. Every time I tripped, they'd shout things like, "Go sissy," "Shake those pom-poms," or, "Watch out, the skirt's got a mind of its own." I wanted to vanish into the floor. But amidst all the teasing, there were these tiny moments that made me actually enjoy it. When I got the cheers right and the moves clicked, Coach would smile and nod, saying, "See, you've got the spirit." And that's when I realized, maybe I actually did. Who knew Sissy Princess had this hidden cheerleading talent? Not me. One afternoon, during practice, I was trying to perfect a high kick. I misjudged my balance and went tumbling into one of the team's lockers. Bam! The whole gym went silent for a second, then exploded into laughter. My face turned tomato red, but honestly, I couldn't stop laughing either. It was so ridiculously embarrassing, yet so funny. I even started giving myself little nicknames in my head like Pom-Pom Disaster or Skirt Tornado. Then came the day of our first pep rally. The entire school was going to be there. And me, Sissy Princess, the accidental cheerleader, had to perform in front of hundreds of people. I tried to psych myself up, saying, it's just like practice, but with more eyes staring at my everything. I practiced in front of the mirror, waved my pom-poms, and even attempted a cartwheel. Let's just say, it did not go as planned. I nearly kicked my own head. The morning of the rally, I pulled on my sparkly uniform and stared at myself in the mirror. I looked ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But there was also something empowering. My skirt was short. My arms were flailing like noodles sometimes. But I was doing it. I was going to get up there and perform. Whether the world laughed or cheered, I was going to do it. At the rally, the team was lined up, ready to perform their cheers. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure everyone could hear it. And then it was my turn. I stepped out, raised my pom-poms, and started the routine. At first, it was shaky. My jumps were wobbly, my claps offbeat. But as the music continued, something clicked. My body moved with the rhythm. I hit the spins, the kicks, the arm raises. And by the end, the crowd went wild. I was shocked. People were actually cheering for me. I could see the smiles on my classmates' faces, hear the claps, feel the energy. It was amazing. I couldn't believe it. Me, Sissy Princess. The girl in the glittery pink uniform who had tripped over pom-poms more times than she could count, was now the star of the cheerleading squad. Of course, the teasing didn't stop. Some of the guys kept whispering, "I can't believe Sissy actually did that." And Coach. He had that little smirk on his face, like he knew exactly how mortified and thrilled I was at the same time. Honestly, I couldn't decide whether to hug him or run away screaming. But the biggest surprise came later that day. During lunch, a couple of the football players approached me. I was expecting more teasing, maybe some sarcastic remarks about my skirt or pom-poms. But instead, they congratulated me. They actually said I did a great job. My stomach did that weird fluttering thing, and I nearly dropped my lunch tray. It was confusing. I was embarrassed, overwhelmed, laughing, and crying at the same time, and yet, there was this weird, warm feeling. Maybe this cheerleading thing wasn't just humiliation. Maybe it was kind of fun. Maybe, just maybe, being Sissy Princess came with perks I had never imagined. And just when I thought I had survived the day, the most shocking moment happened. One of the guys, the one who had teased me the most, walked up and whispered, "Hey, you're actually pretty cute in that outfit." I froze. Couldn't move. Couldn't speak. My brain short-circuited. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to scream. I wanted to disappear. But I didn't. I just smiled nervously and clutched my pom-poms like they were a life raft. And that, my friends, was the start of a very unexpected journey. Cheerleading wasn't just about the routines, the jumps, or even the glittery skirts. It was about discovering sides of yourself you never knew existed. And for Sissy Princess, it was about learning that sometimes embarrassment could turn into something thrilling, fun, and maybe even a little bit magical. But little did I know, this was only the beginning. The real chaos, the teasing, the unexpected crushes, the wardrobe malfunctions, it was all coming. And it was going to make my life as Sissy Princess even more unforgettable. Because once you start down this cheerleading path, there's no turning back. The next week was a total roller coaster. Every practice brought new challenges, new embarrassment, and new opportunities for me to completely humiliate myself in front of the team. And yes, there were plenty of those moments. Like the time I attempted a backflip and, well, let's just say I ended up in a heap of glitter on the floor. The whole squad froze for a second, and then erupted into laughter. I sat there, blinking, trying not to cry laugh while Coach just shook his head and muttered, "You'll get it next time, Sissy." Honestly, at this point, I was starting to accept my fate. I was Sissy Princess, the team's accidental cheerleader, the girl in pink who tripped over everything, and apparently, the center of attention whether I liked it or not. My mornings were consumed with uniform prep, practicing cheers, and trying not to step on anyone's toes, literally and figuratively. One day, during practice, the team decided to have a little fun at my expense. They challenged me to a pom-pom battle, which sounded harmless until they started tossing the pom-poms at me from every angle. I was spinning, ducking, tripping, and somehow trying to keep the routine going. My arms were tangled, my skirt flew up at least 3 times, and I ended up slipping on a stray pom-pom and sliding across the gym floor like some sort of glittery cartoon character. Everyone was laughing hysterically, including me. Mortifying. Yes. Hilarious. Absolutely. After that, Coach pulled me aside with that familiar smirk. "You're handling this better than I thought," he said. "You're embracing it, Sissy. That's the key. Confidence makes everything work." I wanted to punch him. But deep down, he was kind of right. Even with all the chaos, the tripping, the teasing, I was starting to feel like I belonged in this weird, sparkly, embarrassing world. Then came the pep rally for the big homecoming game. This one was even bigger than the last, with parents, teachers, and the entire student body watching. I woke up that morning with a mix of excitement and sheer panic. My uniform sparkled under the sunlight, the skirt felt impossibly short, and my pom-poms practically glowed. I tried to psych myself up. "You've done this before. You survived last time. You can do it again." When we got to the gym, the crowd was roaring. I could feel every eye on me as we lined up. My heart was pounding like a drum, my hands were shaking, and I swear I could see my reflection in every shiny surface, reminding me of just how ridiculous I looked. The music started, and it was go time. I kicked, jumped, spun, and waved my pom-poms. For a few moments, I thought I was doing okay. Then disaster struck. I miscalculated a spin, my foot caught on the edge of the mat, and I went flying forward, landing in a pile of, yes, my own pom-poms. The crowd gasped. My face turned bright red. But instead of boos, the gym erupted into laughter and applause. Somehow, my total disaster became a crowd pleaser. Afterwards, the team carried me on their shoulders, literally. I was laughing, crying, and squealing all at once. The teasing continued, of course, but it was more playful now. Even the guys who had doubted me before started giving me high fives. Coach gave me that smirk again and said, "See, Sissy, you're a natural." I wanted to roll my eyes, but I had to admit, I was starting to feel proud. Then things got complicated. One of the teammates, let's call him Jake, started paying extra attention. Not just teasing attention, but the kind where he'd hand me my pom-poms. Before practice, check if I was okay when I tripped, and sometimes, just smile at me in a way that made my heart do this weird fluttery thing. I tried to ignore it, but Sissy Princess doesn't ignore things like that. I mean, come on, I was barely keeping my balance in this skirt, and now my emotions were in full chaos too. The worst, funniest, most dramatic moment happened during a group routine rehearsal. We were supposed to form a pyramid. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. I ended up on top because coach said I looked graceful in pink. Graceful. I nearly had a heart attack. My legs were shaking, my arms were trembling, and the moment we tried to lift me, I wobbled, flailed, and nearly toppled the whole pyramid. But somehow, against all odds, I survived. The crowd cheered, the team laughed, and I thought, okay, maybe this isn't going to kill me, physically or emotionally. By the end of the week, I realized something. Being the team's cheerleader wasn't just about the uniform, the routines, or the embarrassment. It was about transformation, discovering a side of myself I never knew existed. I was clumsy, awkward, ridiculous, and somehow lovable. Even coach started calling me Star Sissy behind my back, and honestly, it felt kind of good. But just when I thought I had figured it out, the real twist was about to hit. A new challenge, a new embarrassment, and a whole new level of teasing that would push Sissy Princess to the absolute limit. And yes, it involved the most terrifying thing of all, the team's biggest game yet, in front of the entire school, under the bright stadium lights. Game day arrived, and I felt like my stomach had been replaced with a washing machine set on spin cycle. The stadium was packed. Parents, students, teachers, and, of course, every single football fan in town. My uniform sparkled under the stadium lights, the skirt felt impossibly short, and the pom-poms. Well, let's just say they were practically glowing in my trembling hands. I took a deep breath and reminded myself, Sissy Princess can handle anything. Probably. Maybe. Hopefully. The team huddled up before kickoff, and coach gave me that grin again. Sissy, this is your moment. Bring the spirit. My legs almost buckled under the weight of the skirt, the glitter, and the responsibility. I raised my pom-poms and tried to smile, but it came out more like a nervous squeak. And of course, that's when my crush, Jake, walked past, gave me a little nod, and whispered, "You got this." My heart skipped 3 beats. Literally. Our first routine went fine. Mostly. I tripped once, nearly dropped a pom-pom, and almost spun into the mascot, but somehow managed to finish without completely face-planting. The crowd cheered, the team clapped, and I felt a little surge of pride. Maybe I could actually do this. Maybe Sissy Princess wasn't a total disaster after all. But then came the halftime show. The moment I had been dreading. We had to form a human pyramid again, but this time it was bigger, taller, and scarier than ever. And yes, I was on top. My knees were shaking, my arms were trembling, and I prayed to every glittering fairy in existence that I wouldn't fall. One wrong move, one slip, and it would be pure humiliation. The base of the pyramid lifted me up. My heart was pounding so hard I thought everyone could hear it. I tried to hold my balance, raise my pom-poms, and smile. But halfway through the cheer, a sudden gust of wind, thanks to the giant stadium fans, blew my skirt up. Oh no. Not in front of everyone. I grabbed at it desperately, trying to cover myself while still waving the pom-poms. The crowd went silent. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. And then, laughter. Not mean laughter, but that kind of embarrassed, sympathetic, and slightly amused laughter that makes you want to disappear forever. My face turned so red I thought it might combust. But somehow, I managed to finish the routine without falling off the pyramid. I survived. Just barely. After the show, I retreated to the locker room, trembling and sweating. My teammates were laughing and teasing me mercilessly, but it was playful this time. Even Jake came over, handed me a towel, and said, "You did amazing up there." Seriously. I didn't know whether to scream, faint, or hug him. Probably all 3 at once. My emotions were a tangled mess of pride, embarrassment, and a little fluttery crush feeling that I could not ignore. The next week brought more practice, more teasing, and even more challenges. Coach decided that Sissy Princess needed a signature cheer move. Something flashy, memorable, and, of course, completely terrifying. After multiple failed attempts that left me tripping over pom-poms, knocking over cones, and accidentally slapping a teammate in the face, we finally landed on a move that involved a high kick, a spin, and a dramatic throw of the pom-poms. Sounds easy, right? Wrong. During practice, I managed to nail it once. The team went wild. I felt like a superstar. And then the very next time, my skirt got caught on my sneaker, I went flying forward, and the pom-poms ended up tangled in my hair. I sat there in a glittery heap while everyone laughed hysterically. I wanted to crawl under a bench, but instead, I laughed too. Sissy Princess always bounces back, right? By now, the teasing had evolved into a strange kind of affection. The guys weren't just mocking me anymore, they were cheering me on. The girls were giving me tips, complimenting my moves, and even helping with makeup and hair. I was becoming popular? Sort of. Definitely memorable. And honestly, it felt kind of good. But Sissy Princess knows that every adventure comes with unexpected twists. One afternoon, during a casual practice, the team decided to introduce a challenge day. The challenge: create the most embarrassing, over-the-top cheer routine possible. And yes, I was the star. My routine included glitter explosions, dramatic spins, and a stunt that nearly sent me flying into the bleachers. My face was red, my legs were trembling, but somehow, it worked. The team loved it. The crowd would have loved it. And I survived it. And just when I thought I had endured everything, the unthinkable happened. Coach announced that the next game would have a surprise spirit check from the principal, meaning my performance, and my ridiculous pink outfit, would be front and center for the entire school, faculty, and even the local news. My stomach dropped. Could Sissy Princess survive this level of exposure? Or was this finally the moment my career as an accidental cheerleader would crash and burn in front of everyone? The morning of the spirit check game, I woke up with every nerve in my body buzzing like electricity. My uniform sparkled, my skirt felt shorter than ever, and my pom-poms seemed to have a mind of their own. I stared in the mirror, took a deep breath, and whispered to myself, "Sissy Princess, you've faced worse. You've survived tripping, falling, wind gusts, and glitter explosions. You can do this." My reflection didn't answer, but it did sparkle, and that's close enough. When I arrived at the stadium, the principal was already there, clipboard in hand, scanning the cheerleaders like a hawk. My stomach did flips as I clutched my pom-poms. Coach gave me his usual smirk, like he knew exactly how mortified I felt. "All right, Sissy," he said, "it's your time to shine." Shine. I felt more like a disco ball about to shatter. The game started, and my routine went okay, until it didn't. I was mid-spin, performing my signature glitter throw, when my foot caught on the edge of the mat, and I went flying forward. Pom-poms tangled, skirt flipping, arms flailing. The crowd gasped. The principal squinted. My teammates froze for a second, then erupted into laughter. I landed in a glittery heap, my face hotter than the sun. But something miraculous happened. Instead of scolding me, the principal laughed. Not in a mean way, but that kind of surprised, impressed laugh. "Well," he said, "that's memorable. Very spirited." I wanted to faint, cry, and squeal all at once, but I survived. Somehow, Sissy Princess had turned a total disaster into a tiny victory. After that, my confidence started to grow. I began experimenting with different moves, even adding little spins and dramatic gestures to my routines. Some worked. Some didn't. Some resulted in full-on crashes that had the team laughing so hard I worried they'd sprain their abs. But through it all, I started to embrace this weird, glittery world of cheerleading. I was no longer just the accidental Sissy Princess. I was becoming a performer, a showstopper, and yes, even a little bit of a heartbreaker. And then came the team bonding sleepover. Coach decided we needed a night to relax, practice, and, of course, plan the next big routine. I thought I could survive it. I thought I could blend in. But Sissy Princess, not so much. As soon as I walked in, the team started teasing me mercilessly about my sparkling pink uniform, my pom-poms, and my squeaky voice. I tried to defend myself, but my protests were drowned out by laughter. During the sleepover, we played games, practiced cheers, and did makeup challenges. One of the guys, Jake, of course, helped me with my eyeliner. It was awkward, flirty, and mortifying all at once. I kept accidentally poking him in the eye with a mascara wand. He laughed. I laughed. The whole room laughed. And I realized, Maybe this was the first time I actually felt comfortable as Sissy Princess. Maybe this was where I truly belonged. Then came the ultimate embarrassment and thrill. We had to perform a routine for a video the school was making, featuring the team's most spirited members. Guess who was front and center? Yep. Me. Sissy Princess. My legs were trembling, my arms shook, and my pom-poms somehow managed to fly out of my hands mid-routine. But somehow, it looked impressive. The video captured every flail, every spin, every glitter explosion, and turned it into pure magic. By now, the teasing had turned into camaraderie. The guys who had mocked me before were now cheering me on, laughing with me, and occasionally handing me a pom-pom when I dropped one. The girls were giving tips, helping with hairstyles, and sharing beauty secrets I never knew existed. Even Coach started giving me special moves, calling me his secret weapon. I was glowing, figuratively and literally. And then came the most unexpected twist of all. Jake, the guy who had been teasing me and flirting in the most subtle ways, pulled me aside after practice. My heart was hammering. I didn't know whether to be scared, excited, or hide under a pile of pom-poms. He leaned close and whispered, "You're really amazing out there. I don't know how you do it, but I like it." I froze. My face turned tomato red. My hands gripped the pom-poms so hard I thought I'd crush them. Sissy Princess had officially been flustered, and it was glorious. The rest of the week was a blur of glitter, laughter, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. I was learning choreography, perfecting flips, and embracing the fact that being Sissy Princess wasn't just about embarrassment. It was about finding confidence, charm, and maybe even a little bit of romance. I never imagined cheerleading could feel so thrilling. But of course, Sissy Princess knows that life is never simple. The next big game, the biggest crowd yet, and a surprise challenge from Coach was just around the corner. I didn't know it yet, but the ultimate test of courage, poise, and sparkling skill was coming. And this time, it would push me to my absolute limits, both as a cheerleader and as Sissy Princess. The big day finally arrived, the championship game. The stadium was packed to the brim. Everyone was there, parents, students, teachers, and even some local reporters. My uniform sparkled under the bright lights, my skirt felt impossibly short, and my pom-poms seemed to vibrate with excitement. I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "Sissy Princess, this is your moment. Shine, or glitter explode trying." Coach came over, gave me that smirk that could both terrify and motivate me, and said, "All right, Sissy. You've got this. Show them what you're made of." I nodded, although my knees were shaking so badly I thought I might collapse. Jake gave me a little wink, and my heart practically did a triple flip. Great. Just what I needed. My crush noticing me right before I potentially humiliate myself in front of hundreds. The routine started, and at first, everything went smoothly. I hit the spins, the jumps, the high kicks. My arms were trembling, but I waved my pom-poms with flair. The crowd cheered. My teammates shouted encouragement. I started feeling unstoppable. Maybe Sissy Princess wasn't just an accident. Maybe I was a star. And then, of course, disaster struck. Mid-spin, one of my pom-poms flew out of my hands and landed right in the principal's lap. I froze. The entire stadium went silent for a moment. My face turned 50 shades of red. I wanted to crawl under the bleachers, vanish into the gym floor, or dissolve into glitter completely. But I couldn't. I had to keep moving. So I improvised. I grabbed the remaining pom-pom, whipped it dramatically into the air, and somehow managed to land the spin perfectly. The crowd erupted. My teammates clapped. The principal, after a moment of stunned silence, actually laughed and gave me a thumbs up. I couldn't believe it. Sissy Princess had turned a total catastrophe into a crowd-pleasing moment. Then came the pyramid. Oh no. The giant, terrifying human pyramid that had haunted my dreams for weeks. I was on top. My legs were shaking so violently I thought I might tumble at any second. The base of the pyramid lifted me up, and I held my pom-poms high. For a moment, I thought I was going to pass out. And then, the wind hit. My skirt flew up. My hair whipped across my face. My pom-poms tangled. I froze, mortified, as everyone gasped. But instead of panicking, I laughed. Yes, I laughed. And somehow, that tiny, nervous laugh turned into confidence. I struck a dramatic pose, spun carefully, and landed perfectly on the top of the pyramid. The crowd went wild. My teammates cheered. I could see Jake clapping so hard he almost dropped his own pom-poms. And for the first time, I felt truly proud. Not just as Sissy Princess, but as me. After the game, the team carried me off the field, glitter, pom-poms, and all. Everyone was laughing, cheering, and congratulating me. Coach patted my back and said, "You did it, Sissy. You turned every embarrassing moment into something amazing." I wanted to cry from relief, pride, and pure exhilaration all at once. I had survived. I had conquered. I had sparkled. And then, the unexpected happened. Jake walked up, still holding a pom-pom, and said, "You were incredible out there." "Really?" My heart skipped a beat. "Thanks," I squeaked. I mean, wow. He laughed softly, and for a moment, time seemed to slow. My cheeks burned, my hands trembled, and I realized. Sissy Princess had more than just spirit. I had charm. And maybe, just maybe, someone's heart. That night, I collapsed in my bed, exhausted but exhilarated. Glitter was everywhere. On the floor, in my hair, even in places I didn't know glitter could go. My uniform was crumpled, my pom-pom slightly worse for wear, but my heart, completely full. I had faced embarrassment, teasing, chaos, and challenge, and I had survived it all. I was Sissy Princess, the accidental cheerleader who turned every disaster into a dazzling victory. Looking back, I realized something important. Cheerleading wasn't just about flips, jumps, or sparkly skirts. It was about confidence, courage, and finding joy in the most unexpected places. It was about embracing who you are, even when the world expects something else. And for Sissy Princess, it was the start of a whole new adventure, filled with laughter, chaos, teasing, and maybe, just maybe, a little romance. So, what did I learn? Being the team's cheerleader was terrifying, ridiculous, and overwhelming. But it was also magical. I discovered strength I didn't know I had, charm I never recognized, and a whole new side of myself I didn't expect to love. And honestly, I wouldn't trade a single glittery, embarrassing, heart-fluttering second of it. Sissy Princess had survived. Sissy Princess had sparkled. And Sissy Princess. She was just getting started. Because life is messy, life is chaotic, and sometimes life will force you into a pink skirt, but that's when the real magic happens. The cheers, the laughter, the tiny victories, the embarrassing mishaps, they all added up to one thing: the best, most unforgettable adventure of my life. And one thing's for sure, Sissy Princess will never, ever forget this season.